which is one of my favorite snacks that I never have around the house. And they recently discovered them. So I just had an after lunch snack. I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying whatever is coming into your life right now. So I am here with you guys to answer some questions from my community about what it's going to take to make it to that next level of leadership. And today's question is actually from Andy. Andy is a manager in IT services, and he wrote in that he wanted an answer to this question of how does he go from checking boxes on skills to get to the next level to thinking about influencing others to get to the next level. So I'll be answering that for him and for you guys today. If you have questions while you're listening, please type them in. I answer your questions, your actual questions about what it's going to take. And I love to hear what's on your mind. And today's question is actually a really great example of that, because I talk all the time on this show, on my podcast, whatever that might be. I talk about how to influence other people. And I want you guys to question me and say, wait, what about all those skills that I need in order to make it into a senior executive leadership position? So I'm going to talk about that. And who am I? So my name is Stacey Mayer. I'm a promotion strategist and an executive coach, and I coach corporate leaders to get promoted into senior executive leadership positions. I am on a mission to bring more diversity to the leadership table by getting 1,000 corporate managers who are amazing, giving them the skills to actually get promoted into senior executive leadership positions. So that's why Andy's question really struck a chord with me. And I was like, oh, we have to answer this on the show today. So what is the show? The show is called Executive Ahead of Time. This is the live version of my 6-week corporate intensive course that I offer every so often throughout the year, where I literally take a small group of corporate leaders through my strategic promotion process, giving them all of these tools and practical application and coaching all along the way. So if that seems like something that you're interested in doing in 2021, I highly recommend getting on my VIP wait list, because I only open that up a few times throughout the year. And so I want to make sure that you find out about it the next time it does in fact open. So I'm going to write it in here. So this is where you sign up for the wait list. Back to Andy's question. So the first thing I want you guys to ask yourself is, where am I headed, right? So am I headed into, a C-suite position or whatever that might be? So really think about that long-term vision. And I recommend to my clients always thinking 3 steps ahead. So not just the next role. So for Andy, it might be a senior manager role. But I would encourage him to think about a VP or an SVP role. And what are the skills that the SVP possesses at your organization? Just look at somebody at your organization in that role and really write down, like, what are those skills? And so here's the thing. So Andy is an IT manager. So he is much more comfortable looking at the technical qualities that he'll need to possess at that next level. So he might need to learn more about financials. He might need to learn more about a specific area of expertise. And all of that is completely true. And the reason why I don't teach on that is because oftentimes it's very straightforward. It's like getting a course, like getting a certification, having a conversation with somebody, having practical advice about something. The reason that I teach on influencing behavior and communication strategies is because it feels more nebulous. It's confusing. It feels intangible, right? It feels almost impossible to do on your own. And what I do is I take that intangible process of influencing behavior, communicating differently, showing the executive staff that you're ready to be in a higher executive leadership position. I make it tangible. I give you that analytical step-by-step process to actually influence behavior and communicate and get yourself into that higher level leadership position. So part of his question implies his lack of belief that it's true, right? And so I actually want, the first step is I want you guys to question it. I want you to figure out, is it true? Like, what are the skills that you need, again, at the SVP level, like even further out than where you are right now? So figure it out. How do we figure it out? We look at examples and kind of guess for ourselves. But the easiest way to figure it out is to have conversations. So Andy, I would suggest to you, like, schedule a meeting with an SVP and ask them, so what are the behaviors that I would need to learn to get promoted into a senior executive leadership position? And the other thing that your question kind of implies is that you think influencing behavior is not necessarily a positive attribute, right? Like, because it probably feels like you're selling yourself, like that concept of advocating for yourself or talking about your wins or, you know, bragging or anything like that. It feels very strange and foreign. And so we feel like it's not something good to actually have a conversation about. So here's what I guess is going to come out of that conversation that you have with your SVP. So go figure it out for yourself. Just decide, I'm going to figure out like what it's actually going to take. And then what your SVP is probably going to tell you is that you need to be able to have buy-in from the leadership team that you are ready to get promoted. Like, it's not up to your boss. It's not just up to your boss to get you promoted, right? You're going to need to think strategically. Right? Thinking strategically is setting a vision. When you are able to set a vision for your career, you're better able to set a vision for your team, and you're better able to communicate